Hello everyone and welcome to another Kamigawa Neon Dynasty draft. This time it is a premier draft and the pack is quite interesting. I might just take the Invoked Ancients now with the cycle of this quadruple caster. A good rares. I think all of them are quite good. Maybe the red one isn't. Well, anyway, this is amazing. You get 2 4/5s. You get to choose which counters you want to distribute to them. That's just an insane card, but you need to have at least, like I would like to have at least 13 ways to cast it, maybe 12, but there are multiple ways to do it. It doesn't have to be just basic lands. But I think I'll take it because it's pack one, pick one. I do like the Leech Gauntlet, the Hotshot mechanic. There's no premium removal in the common section. I do like the Tales of the Master Sesira quite a bit, but first picking it would be a little bit questionable. I take this, and this does require that I have a lot of green sources in the deck, maybe even mono green, but we will see. And here I will still, of course, be kind of open to any other archetype. I might just ignore this because if I can't have at least 12 green sources in the deck, I won't be playing the deck. I will be playing the deck, but I won't be playing the card in it because it's just too unreliable. If you have, for example, 10-7 basic land split, it's not enough basic forests for the Invoked Ancients. Right, so I could take the Otawara, which is pretty decent, but there's also the Master's Rebuke. This is a very nice build around, but if I'm gonna go for this, I have to, focus on picking only green cards for now. As long as green is open, I can do it. And I will take the Master's Rebuke. It's quite nice removal spell after all. Oh, and now what I get here is gonna be an Orochi Merge Keeper. It is a way to add, green mana. Plus, this can even be modified in a pinch. You usually don't want to enhance this, but I guess you can use equipment on it because the primary function of this card is to just add mana, so you don't want to give like +1/+1 counters on it. But yeah, this is great. I mean, turn 4 Invoked Ancients. I can already see it coming. Alright, it's easy to pick here. Yep, don't need to worry about the other stuff. I like the Upriser Renegade in the modified decks, but yeah, this is gonna be the exact pick here. Alright, so am I going to take some other color? Because I don't have to be mono green. I can like have a light sort of splash of another color. Because of course I can just take the Fang of Shigeki. It's totally fine. Good 1-drop blocks nicely, which is important in this format because of the ninjas. But then there's Tempered in Solitude. Quite good, and exactly the kind of card you can play with, like a 4 or 5 red sources in the deck. But I am interested in the option to play just mono green if it's possible. Also, the Fang is quite nice with the Master's Rebuke if I find more of those. So I think I will keep mono green unless I have a very strong incentive to do something different. Okay, well this pack has... I mean, I might just have this mono green lane open to me at least in pack 1 because the Azusa's thing is actually not that good. It is eventually a 2 mana 3/3 and you gain 3 life, but it's not the peak here. It could... Okay, this is good too, but I really like the Web Spinner Cuff because that is such a nice way to, block any flyer, even that, prevents the ninja stuff. The Master's Rebuke is good too, and the Cultivation is good, but this is not so good if I'm actually mono green. Then I don't care about the mana adding ability that much. I think I take the Web Spinner Cuff because this also late in the game you can put your, giving your own guys like +4 toughness and also a +1 power. Makes it very hard for the opponent to beat that stuff. Alright, I'm getting this good stuff here. Roaring Earth is really good. Great on turn 2, or I mean, it doesn't have to be turn 2, could be like turn 3, turn 4 too, but good in early game. And then of course late in the game you can just use it with the channel ability, so it's not a bad top deck. Alright, so the Geothermal Kami would be actually nice with this, so if I get these, and usually I will because this is not a good card, unless you have synergy for it. So this is one great way to pick this up and use the channel ability later in the game. Alright, so how many Master's Rebukes I'm getting here. I think I like it more than the spinning wheel kick. This does the same thing as Rebuke at 4 mana, and it's a sorcery. And then at 6 mana you maybe, well not maybe, you get to deal to 2 different creatures. So it's a tough one. But I also like the Harmonious Emergence quite a bit. But if I'm mono green, maybe I should just take the instant speed interaction here. Yeah, I'll take this. I think I will have enough creatures in a mono green deck. I mean, if this is going to be a mono green deck, I have actually also passed some decent green. It is possible it's not that open in pack 2. Any enchantments here? There's some. I guess I'll take the Communy with Spirit. I'm not really interested in splashing any of this stuff, so I can take this Blade as a random playable. It's totally fine. How about... Yeah, no. That's okay-ish, but you get these things later in the draft. I think I'll take this. I don't really want to use the reach option, but channel option is okay. Then when it's in the graveyard, you can use something like a Season of Renewal to get it back. It's a 2 mana +3/+3 and reach trick. That's what it is. Let's do it now. I do want to have some creatures. I mean, I have only 3 of them. Fade into Antiquity, Thundersteel Colossus. Both are cards I could play here. This is a best of 1 draft, so no sideboard. I think I will play 1 Fade into Antiquity in the best of 1 deck. Yep. In best of 3, I would start with 1 in the main deck and then pick more of these for the sideboard when opponent really is heavy into this, one or the other, or both of them. But as a main deck card, I like 1 off. Okay, now that's a pack with no green. Also not really anything I'm gonna be interested in playing, even if I splash some color. Moonfolk Puzzle Maker maybe is the most likely thing, but really it is unlikely still. Alright, this is green. Don't know how easily I'm gonna get modified creatures, but there's still time to pick them. This gives me modified creatures. Yeah, okay, there's not a lot. So currently I don't really want to play this card, but maybe I can find something that makes it more playable. Okay, let's take the Papercraft Decoy. It is playable. If you don't have ninjas, it's not so great, but with ninjas, if you have the extra 2 to pay in addition to the ninjutsu ability, it can be okay. That said, it's not that easy to attack with a 2/1 without evasion, so that the opponent doesn't block it. Okay, Invoke Justice. Yeah, this can't really be played in the same deck. Not enough dual lands in the format. Oh, yeah, not going to pick that. Alright, so am I going to take a 3rd Master's Rebuke? I need creatures here. I guess I'll take the Rebuke because what else card this pack has? Like a Voltage. This is removal as is this, so the Voltage Search isn't. It's a better card, yeah, usually, but yeah, I'll take the Rebuke and hope to get some creatures. It could be green creatures or artifact creatures. Okay, I'm getting now at least something. Of course, if you are drafting mono-color deck, you will be limited in options. But I'm happy to take the Tales of Master Seshiro. Hopefully, well, I'm not sure if I'm playing this card. I might be playing it though, but I'm taking the 5-drop now. I have some mana accelerating here, so that is useful. It is useful to have these 5 mana cards, even more than just 1. Here, a Story Weave is a trick, playable one, but the Coiling Stalker is the actual card I need here, just for curve reasons, if nothing else. There's a Goshintai, but wrong color. There's a Chukai Trainee. Yep, I need creatures. Don't have artifacts. I mean, mono green won't have a lot of artifacts. I have exactly 2 now. Let's take the Trainee. It's a fine 2-drop. Yep, I could have the green 4-drop, the enchantment that gives a +1/+1 counter to anything, even to itself. That's exactly the card I want to have. That is one of the better green cards. Also, Greater Tanuki. A little bit of heavy hitters wouldn't matter here now. I'm not matter, but I wouldn't mind having them. Okay, I'll take the trainee, but I guess the searchlight companion wouldn't be totally unplayable. I have only one ninja though, so maybe it's not the best here. But yeah, I like the 2-drop. Thirst for knowledge is... Well, I don't have enough artifacts to make it a good card. It's not really that great if you have to discard 2. Yeah, it's not. Whoa, 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 whoa. And now this pack comes... I mean, I would be happy with the Ninja's Kunai too, but I mean, Blossom Prancer. I would be happy with the Tales of the Master Seshiro and the Jukai Trainer. Or is it Jukai? Anyway, this is just great. I'm taking it, obviously. It doesn't actually find my Invoke the Ancients because it's a sorcery, but this is just such a fantastic card. Safekeeping. I don't think I need the decoy. I have enough 2-drops here, and it's not really a good one. Season of Renewal. Creature enchantment. How many enchantments? Only 4. Yep. Let's take the safekeeping. I like it as a 1 mana save your guy from something. It does multiple things. Alright, so here Roaring Earth number 2, probably over the Master's Rebuke number 3. Don't know, I'm not sure if I like this in multiples, but I think it was the pick there. I will not be playing the Fade in the Antiquity at 2 copies. I'll take the Vaulted Search. I can maybe splash red if I get red-green land and maybe something more than good red cards in pack 3. Suit, Kami. I guess with 2 of these Roaring Earths, I should be taking the Kami here. Plus, it was my first 4-mana creature. It doesn't really... I mean, for curve, as a on-curve play, it's totally... I mean, playable, not great. Story Weave. I mean, it's the only card for my color, so I'm not sure how many of those kind of cards I can play, though. Another safekeeping. Well, I'm not playing. I don't think I'm gonna play the first copy. It only finds an enchantment or land. It doesn't find a creature even. So I think I'm going to put this straight to sideboard because, as you can see, at pack 2, pick 12, this is already 22 cards. So I can easily cut, the least useful cards in there. Okay. Still won't be playing 2 of them, even if I get it as a free at pick number 14. That is a really, really good card. Okay. But it is a double caster. If it wasn't, I would be splashing maybe that and the Vaulted Search. But it's a double caster, so my mana would be super awkward if I want to accommodate the 4 quadruple caster and the double caster from different colors. This pack doesn't have anything for me. I'm not really interested in the Season of Renewal or the second Papercraft Decoy. I think I'll take the rare just in case I find like multiple ways to fix my mana. I don't know if it's even possible, but I don't really like to play it with with this quadruple caster. Alright, so Fang of Shigeki. I think with triple Master's Rebuke, I should just do it. The Bearer of Memory is fine, but I like the Death Toucher more. Okay, this is... Yeah, I like the Boon of Boseiju, but I have some tricks here, and this is a really good card. It also gives me a modified creature, and I just remembered I do have this thing in my deck, one of these already, which I'm not necessarily wanting to play currently, but this is, helping me get there by giving me a modified creature just by itself. Okay, no green here. Bronze Cudgels. I don't really... I mean, basically, for 4 mana, which you have to always, pay every turn we want to use this. For 4 mana, you get +3/+3, and for 6 mana, you get +3 plus 0, and for 6 mana +6/0. It's not really worth it. But then again, there's nothing for me in this pack, so I guess I'll take the Cudgels and hope that I still have some green going on, and I do. So Calling Stalker could be played, but I think I like the Harmonious Emergence too. Could have a bit of this heavier hitter now. I have some, but maybe not enough. I do like the Stalker, but I also have maybe enough early drops here. Maybe with the Death Touchers. I'll take the Emergence. Alright, so this Clumsy Rigger also a card you could be splashing, but there's also another Coiling Stalker and a Greater Tanuki. I'll take the Tanuki. It's a nice way to accelerate into my 5 drops, which I have, 3 of here. So let's do it. And of course just a big Trampler when you already have the lands for that. That's 26 cards. Well, I think I have some easy cuts here, but I'm not gonna bother with them yet. Okay, so green is super open to this direction. Oh, am I just taking the Merge Keeper? I mean, probably. It adds mana for my expensive stuff. It won't be doing much when you don't need the mana anymore, but I still take it. I do have 3 5 mana cards, 1 6 mana card, so the mana accelerating can be handy. Okay, and now I get the Kappa Tech Wrecker. This is really good 2-drop. Also a modified creature by itself. I might be playing this thing, but I'm not sure. We will see when I build the deck. Enchantment. I have more of those now. That's 9. I might actually consider playing it. I don't think I have any of those yet. Season of Renewal. Nope. Brute Suit. Apprentice. Probably won't be playing either, but let's take the suit. It can be actually crude with this one power creatures. Here I'll just take a Boon of Poseidon. And doesn't really matter here because I'm not gonna play those. Sure, I'm not playing 2 of these. I'll take the uncommon. Why not? Okay, I got the Master's Rebuke. Second to last, basically last because this was a basic land pack. Interesting. I might just play all the 4. And this on color but not needed card. So green was sufficiently open. I actually have, 9 cuts to make. Yeah, let's just start doing that. I will play all the 5 mana cards. I will play the 6 mana card. I will play the 4 mana, well, so to say, creatures. You can play the Harmonious Emergence on turn 4. Of course, it means the land will be tapped. You are gonna enchant. But you can ask the question from yourself. Would you play a creature that is a 4 mana 4/5 Vigilance that enters tapped? And that is something you might be somewhat happy to play. But when I say that you can pay an extra mana when it enters the battlefield to untap it. So 5 mana you will actually have 4 mana 4/5. And in that case it will also have haste. So that is really good. So usually you want to play this when you have at least 5 mana available. But you can play this on turn 4. It's not at the end of the world. But yeah, favor of Yuka. I'm not sure how many of these pump effects I want to have. Let's put the pump effects here, because I have some of them. No, that's a card draw effect. This is the pump effect. I think I can just easily get rid of the decoy. I don't need that thing here. Yeah, another Coiling Stalker. I would have actually wanted to have it. Maybe I don't play the Heir of the Ancient Fang because I don't have that many ways to get modified creatures early. I have some though. The Goshin Tai sadly doesn't give it to me on turn 3, because if I play this on turn 2, I don't have mana to use the triggered ability. The point of this card is, I think this is I might be wrong, but my initial impression is that when you get to somewhat reliably cast it on turn 3, so that it enters with a counter, then it's totally a reasonable card. If you have to wait later, it's going to lose a lot of its value. And I'm thinking I might be cutting it. I don't want to cut too many creatures, but is this the situation where the Invoke the Ancients and the Tales of Master Cesiro, they don't actually count as creatures in this box here. So it's gonna, currently it is 16 creatures plus whatever. Oh, the Harmonious Emergence, that's 17th. Yeah, these do count. Is there anything else? Just want to make sure. Now, well, these can be creatures, but it's mostly later in the game. So yeah, I can cut, and I think I will cut the Heir of the Ancient Fang here. The Brute Suit, I will keep it. It's something that has a little bit more power. Sometimes you have the Fang of Shigeki without actual need to block with it. And then as an attacker, it's just 1 power. So I can use the suit to at least deal a bit more damage. Crew 1 shouldn't ever be a problem. Currently I have 9 enchantment cards. If I play all of them, I might be cutting the favor of Yukai. Yeah, it's kind of here and there if I want to play the Season of Renewal. It is, you get 2 cards, and it's something. Sometimes I might use this channel and then get it back. I have some good cards like Tales of Master Cesiro, which is really nice to return. But of course I do need to make some cuts here. I mean, more than just 1, so it's going to be a little bit tough now, actually. Season of Renewal, if that goes away, I think I will play the Fade into Antiquity. It can have good targets, I mean expensive ones, but then again, could have a 3 mana, 4 mana targets too, and it's not the end of the world if you target a 2 mana card with it. Oh, yeah, how many? I mean, I'm actually gonna play 16 lands. That's pretty easy with double Merge Keeper here. 16 lands, and I don't have to worry about my color balance because, well, colors will work. I have only forests in the deck. So some of these could not be played. The Story Weave, I have exactly 1 saga, don't I? So this is just a 3 mana to put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature. Okay, I can cut that. That's an easy cut. I'm actually thinking about cutting 1 of the Roaring Earths. I'm not sure if I would like to draw 2 of them because they still are not very good. I mean, I can play 1 of them early, and then if I have another one in my hand, I'm not sure if I want to play it as a enchantment. If I had more of these geothermal Kamis, maybe then, but I guess I can cut 1, and I will keep 1 as a good early drop, and then also a reasonable surprise blocker, or just, I mean, you can have it as a surprise blocker if you pay like 1 less for the X than you could in order to have the land be untapped for blocking purposes. But it's an option you can, decide based on the situation. But yeah, I will play 1 of them only. Is 4 rebukes too much? I guess 1 safekeeping can be cut. I like to play 1 though. Maybe I could cut 1 of the rebukes. It is, I mean, a lot of my creatures do have at least 4 power, and then there's the 2 Death Touchers. Actually, this thing has Death Touch too. Yep, 3 Death Touchers. But I have to cut something. Of course, the Brute Suit is something you could cut, but I also like it sort of as a on-curve play. I don't have a lot to do on 3. Actually, the mana curve seems a bit weird. Do I just care about the favor of Yukai? I think I'll play the Boon of Boseiju, which, especially with the Greater Tanuki, it can be quite nice. 12, 11 Trampler, and with the 5 mana cards. And I mean, it's almost always going to be at least +2/+2. I want to have at least 1 trick here. But the favor of Yukai, Yeah, well, I'm thinking here about cutting one of the Master's Rebukes, the one that I got like pick 14. If I cut that and the Favor of Yukai, that could be it. Or do I want to have 2 tricks? The tricks aren't that bad. But on the other hand, do I need them? But what would I cut if not the trick? I don't want to cut any of the 2-drop creatures. I'm not cutting the Roaring Earth. That will be useful often enough. And none of my high end will be cut either. It's just 2 mana +3/+3 against reach. Yeah, let's cut it, and this is the deck. So this is now 13 creatures plus, what's there? 14, 15, 16, I guess, still. So the Geothermal Kami doesn't have a lot of good things to pick up. It can pick up the Roaring Earth, that's clearly the best thing. None of the other ones are really that good, unless they have a pacifism on them. But I think I want to play it as a 4 mana 4/3. Just, yeah, I guess that's the case. Do I need all the 2-drops? I think I want to have all the 2-drops here. And the Fade into Antiquity. Brute Suit. Yeah, sure. Yup. Okay, this is the deck. Let's just add the forests. Is this the... Yeah, this is my first Neon Dynasty deck that doesn't have red in it. Draft number 4, it took 4 drafts to have such a deck. Alright, mono green. So this was the pack 1 pick 1 in the draft, and I was able to draft the mono green deck, which is, I think, maybe powerful enough. Hopefully I win all the matches. Okay, look, my colors work. That is the one nice thing about... these targets are permanent, not just a creature, I didn't even realize. Nice thing about monocolor deck is of course that as long as you have enough lands, it's gonna be good. So no point playing this now because I don't have a land drop. I can play this, play a land, give a counter on this guy, then it will be modified, add 2. Ninja. No. I wasn't gonna block with my guy here. That's gonna be the one that gives a treasure token. Alright. Well, they have a treasure token. I think I'm going to just use the Master's Rebuke here. Although if they don't use it, they might have a 1 mana risk. Well, they'd use it, so now it is actually safe. So I'm going to... Now I could also play the Brute Suit, but I'm not going to play any lands before this is on the battlefield. And... oh, I actually have 3 mana, I didn't even realize. Although they get another treasure token, I can't really give them treasure this early in the game. And I don't want to let them untap either. They get to have another ninja though, but letting them... Although I do have 3, I can have the safe... Oh yeah, I do have the safekeeping, so they can still have a pump effect. But they can't respond by killing my guy. Well, they can try. But I have their safekeeping, which I can use as a response myself. So this way I can block the apprentice. Although if they do have a pump effect as a response, oh, it's not going to be fun in that case now, is it? Okay, so... guess I'm gonna block it then, because if they have like +3/+3, I will be No, that's bad if it's a +3/+3. It's gonna be horrible. Okay. Oh, they can ninja. I made the classic mistake here. They can respond to the... I should have done it before blocks. I hate it. They're gonna respond with a ninja now. And I'm actually gonna give them the treasure now. I mean, it's too risky. It's way too risky if they respond to a ninja there. That would be horrible. I'll give them the treasure now. Yeah, that's bad. I should have done that before blocks. Well, let's try it now. If they have a pump spell, it will just counter it. They had a trick there. So they got a treasure token, but oh well. This is... So what I can just put on... I don't even need to crew this. I might want to give a counter on the brute suit here. Yeah, let's play the vehicle here and let's give it one counter. And then I could attack for one. Sorry, for two I could attack. But I don't think I want them to, do the ninja stuff. So I'm gonna leave this as a blocker. This has vigilance, but I still need to draw another creature. Need to draw another creature to both attack and block. Now they get to cash in their treasure token, but it is what it is. Alright, so am I gonna attack into that? I can... This will be a 5/4 if I crew it. And if I give it another counter, it will be a 6/5. Sky Swimmer Koi. That's a good one. Okay, creature. That's not a creature. Am I going to need to start? Yeah. Let's start the race. I mean, I'm really not in a good shape. If they block with both, that's fine. They lose them both. And I lose my suit. If they take 6, yeah, that's totally... I mean, I can just eat the board. At least these lands will be, useful with the Roaring Earth. They will give me +1/+1 counters. But the opponent still has, what, 5 cards in their hand? Well, now 4. I don't know how many of them are lands, though. I know one of them is a spell. And it's a very good one. Artifacts make them loot. So even if they have a lands in their hand, they can loot them away. Oh, come on. This is kind of ridiculous, but let's offer the trade here. I have 16 lands in the deck, so 9 left. And 19 spells. Bunch of them are early drops which are not very impactful on this board state. At least I do have the Roaring Earth here. And if I happen to draw my, the thing that can return an enchantment, I'll at least get to use the channel here. But things can get awkward here for sure. I'm actually losing the race now. Oh, that's really bad. I can attack for 4, they can attack for 6. That's assuming they don't have anything right now. I mean, I didn't draw any of my heavy hitter. I drew 50% lands, 7+7 exactly. Problem is, I can't block the Sky Swimmer Koi here. So what I can do is, and they can even attack with this, threatening the activation to give it a counter. Yeah, I'm gonna attack for 4 here. They do have mana up though, which is super annoying here. Oh, they have a rebuke here. I wish I had a rebuke here. Imagine if I could respond with a rebuke of my own here. Wow, that would be crazy. Well, this really, I did draw the sort of, well, it's not the wrong half of the deck because I haven't drawn half of the deck, but I have some bigger things there. But now I'm gonna go to seven life here without any kind of a way to erase them. I do have a reach guy because I do have this thing here and in my deck, and this has reach. So now I'm in the sort of a stage in the game where I need to draw specific cards, and the opponent must not have a certain answers for those cards, which means that my likelihood to win is somewhere around 15%, maybe not even that. Land is kind of bad. So if they have a land drop, they can force a jump because they can make this into a 4-3. Yeah, in that case, I can still get my rare. They can be, I can get a reach guy there. I can have a 4-5 reach guy, which blocks this. But I, of course, didn't draw that, and they had the answer. So it went the opposite. Like I said I need to draw a specific card, which I didn't. Opponent must not have certain answers, which they did. But yeah, it's 16 land deck. I drew both of my mana elves, or are they elves? No, they are not elves, but and then also 8 lands and 6 spells, or something like that. Okay. So well, if I was on the play, I would like this situation a little bit more. Now it's likely that my Calling Stalker won't be being able to connect even with, despite the Master's Rebuke here. Well, they have 3 colors. No place yet. I drew a decent 3-drop, and this might be a channel thing, or it might be, just played. Depending on how that's annoying. But I can kill it. Yeah, first I will attack. This becomes a 3-2, then it loses the this counter here. And I will use the Rebuke to kill it. Goshin type, that's a fine one. Okay, they have more. Well, I need to get rid of that thing too. I wish... Are they gonna block here? I mean, artifact card. They don't have an artifact card. So definitely what I should do here is just play this and attack. And if they block with it, I'm fine with that trade. I trade my 2-drop to their 4-drop, and I can, I'll have big creatures coming up that can benefit from the Rebuke here. Okay, is that just a 3-color deck, or was this the splash? Could be. Okay, so this is a reconfigure 4. It gives +2, +1, and ward. So they can make a 4/4 menace guy, but don't think I care about it too much. I'll just play my Goshintai here and start adding counters. They get some discount here now. That's unfortunate, but they have only 2 cards in hand. Ninja's Kunai. Okay, they probably use that to kill the Goshintai. But I need to only draw a land for the Blossom Prancer. I'm kind of not wanting to use the Tanuki now. But let's see if I do that opponent have something that they can play a 4-mana card here still. Yeah, that thing, okay. But now I drew the land. So because of the menace thing, I think I'll not attack, because it only attacks for 1, doesn't really matter. So I can get an enchantment or a land. or just gain life. Sorry, creature or enchantment, not lands. 4 life or a creature. Don't think I need a life. They get to draw 2 cards from this thing. Okay, so they get to reveal. That's nice for them, but I have now, I mean, next land will give me the 6/5 Trampler. This is not an enchantment, that can't be returned with the Geothermal Kami. Okay, so they're gonna go for the... I'm fine with this. I mean, it's kinda annoying, but then again... I don't wanna take 4 here. I'm glad they didn't have like a Kindled Fury there. That would have been super annoying. But now I realize I did trade with the 2/3. Of course, they get a creature back here, but I don't mind. Because this already netted me a card here. And I have, as you can see, I have handful of stuff that I can be using here. They can get a card from this thing too, but well, they, I guess, oh fine, let them draw a card. At least they will use 2 mana on it. Not sure if this is too smart on my, but I like my hand here so much that I don't feel like taking this damage, and it's not like I can prevent this card draw from happening because they have so much lands there. Yeah, they at least have the means to enable the splash. Okay, so now I can start attacking with both. They're gonna make this into a 3/2, but now that I have made those pretty conservative blocks here, I can actually take some damage if they, even if they can connect with that thing somehow. Of course, they need to deal with the 6/5, but they might be able to do that. Oh, don't block that! It's a Bushido opponent. Maybe they have a master plan. Maybe they had a reason to want that card in the graveyard. Who knows? They might have a pacifism on the Tanuki, in which case I can return it with this. Okay, they get to Reckless Impulse this thing and this thing. Well, pretty low impact. Pretty low impact given my board here. They can give that thing a counter. I will be trading with the Yukai Trainer. Although I could exile, but yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's the thing I'm gonna do here. The other option is just to, I mean, I could use the Master's Rebuke too, and then play the 4/3. But I like the fact that this is now a reasonable enough target for the Fade into Antiquity, and then I can leave the Rebuke for something that could be even more problematic. So let's do that. And attack for, what's this, 9? So they are dead on the next turn. They will get the +1/+1 counter on their creature, but I can kill 1 creature with the Rebuke here. So did they just draw lands there? Or maybe they didn't want to care about the 6/5 Trampler. Could be they had like small creatures and they know it's not gonna be good enough. Especially because I can make the 6/5 Trampler into a 7/9 with the reconfigured thing I had there. Alright, hey, first time I see my Invoke the Ancients. And with 3 lands, there's a good chance I get to play it maybe even on turn 5. Even though I don't, I have these cards which I can play. So I can play Death Toucher or the Trainee on turn 2. Then I can play this on turn 3 and get a counter. Lucky Ronin, so this time it means I'm going to... Well, I mean, this is gonna be a... Well, it's kinda interesting actually. This is a 3/3 blocker. This is a Death Toucher, but this has ninjutsu, and I might want to, you know, use the Death Touch counter to actually destroy an artifact or enchantment. So I'm gonna play the Trainee now. They can't really attack into it unless they might have the white equipment. or removal spell also. The equipment makes this into a 4/4. Then I would have needed to have the... Well, I guess I'm gonna kill the equipment in that case. Okay, so now a lot of things are possible here now. I think I'm quite interested in just ninjaing this thing out. I would like to have the merge keeper here too. This doesn't do anything until they have stuff in the graveyard. I mean, relevant stuff for that ability. But this is the kind of turn when I can safely attack into... But it's also going to set me back. I will be left with a 1/3 creature. Maybe I don't need to care about this right now. I kind of like the idea to just actually do this, get the counter, and then next turn I will... Oh, they can use the... They can actually use the rummage ability to put something in the graveyard. But anyway, the point is I have 3 lands, so, and this costs me 1 mana. So if I don't draw the 4th land, I can play a 2 mana card and continue using this here. That's the idea here. Okay, so... Now things are a little bit more awkward, because even if I kill this... No, this exiles, does it? Yeah, it exiles, okay. But they can still rummage artifacts and... No, but they have to... It doesn't work in the same attack, because they have to target the artifact when this attacks. It doesn't matter how you stack these triggers. The target has to be specified right away. So they can only... If they want to discard something for this thing, they can only, at the earliest, on the next turn, use this to replay it. But... I think it's time to just play the mana producer here. It seems like I mean, having these 5 mana cards here, it's a bit I'm not gonna try to raise them. I'm gonna try to play my 5 mana cards, and then I can, raise them. Vigilance, Reach, or Trample. That will be an interesting... I don't think it's going to be Trample. At least one maybe has Vigilance, maybe something. Okay, they... don't 2-for-1 me like that. They get value out of the 1 damage to each thing. Can't draw my lands now. So I played this thing just to, be able to cast these at some point. Now I still need to draw 2 lands, which seems to be impossible right now. So... I'll play my 3 mana card here. I mean, there's not much really to... I just need to buy time. Buy time to get my 5 mana effect, because these are so strong. I mean, the Tails is good as well, but definitely the Invoke the Ancient is insane. Okay, I can't block now. Well, with one of my guys. I can block with the other one. So actually... Oh, come on. This is exactly the thing. The opponent has all the cheap interaction while I'm stuck at 3 lands. It's just... I guess I take only 3 here. They don't have any castables here. And they are, at 1 card in their hand. And I still don't... Didn't I keep a... Yeah, I kept a 3-lander, saying there's a good chance I get to play... Because I'm on the draw here. That I get to play this on turn 5. Well, 6 draws after 0 lands drawn. And the 1 mana guy I had got killed for free with the seismic wave here. So if this dies, they get to cast it. Alright, yeah, I can't even kill this. Okay, then. I need to be able to kill this thing, so that means I need to... Need what? I'm gonna play this for now. I have 3 Master's Rebukes in the deck. I just need one of them to kill the Heiko Yamazaki, because that allows them to recycle the artifacts here. Oh man, this Kami's Flare there, and well, maybe more like the Seismic Wave. I'm taking 4 from that thing, that is such insane. They get to have value from, they discarded only a land though, so. Well, I can't block it because next turn they will just attack with the Samurai and recast it for free. Not like this. Now this is a way to very easily totally you know, stabilize. That's the word I was trying to find. So now I think it's time to use the Brute Suit. If they block, they might block with the recovery unit though, then they can cast it. This thing untaps. Alright, so this is quite horrible actually. I think I have to play the trainee and leave the... I just don't like that this thing is going to deal additional 4 points now, but there's not much. I mean, I can use a card to prevent that. But yeah, I don't. I mean, Heiko Yamazaki, I really need my... I have Master's Rebukes, 3 of them. I would have needed some of that now. If I attack with this, the problem is they can block with the recovery unit. That is the actual problem. Yeah, I mean, I have to hope to draw a land on the next turn. Then I get my 4/5s, and then I get to do this. And yeah, actually, I don't even need to give them Vigilance counter, because this will give Vigilance to those. Yeah, this Unstoppable Ogre is really unstoppable here. This is really sick. Target artifact, so they can't cast it on this turn. So that's like a... Maybe I will block with the Jukai trainee. Do I want to use the Boon of Poseidon there? No, I don't. Oh. I could also block with the Web Spinner Cuff here. Or even the Brute Suit. Okay, I'm gonna use the Brute Suit here. I want to draw a land or a Master's Rebuke. That's 15 outs, 12 lands and 3 rebukes. The opponent so likes this block. They just will get some value from the Heiko Yamazaki. Couldn't even use the Boon of Poseidon. I know I could have, but I kind of didn't want to use it like that. Alright, good. Now let's make it harder for them to do stuff. Alright, so I'm gonna give them... This gives Vigilance for a turn though. They don't have that much, jump blockers, so maybe I don't need to keep Trample. They might have flyers. I think I give you 1 reach and 1 Vigilance still. That's like a safe way to do things, I think. And now they can't really attack because I can just multiple block here. That's a really good one though. I need to start exiling stuff there. How can I do it? So whenever... Okay, it has to deal damage to a player though. When it does, they can sacrifice the creature to... Yeah, okay. So to discard a hand, draw 3. I need to actually kill that thing, but I guess it trades with either the trainee or the Web Spinner Cuff. because this will get +1/+1, so it will be actually dealing, total of 4 damage to it. They just decide which one they want to kill. Now I might be able to. I guess I have to exile this head helm here. All right, so. I guess I have this is currently +2/+2. That's all it is. Because they can make some blocks with this is crew 2 though. They can block the helm here, make it 3, 4, and 4, 6. I guess if I get to kill the Yamazaki, that's almost good enough. I can't play this and the Boon of Boseiju, that's the thing. I could just keep a counter on the trainee and then not care about the blocks they're gonna make here. I'm gonna do this. Not sure if this is the smartest thing to do, but... So this has vigilance. If this trades with some of these, one of these things, they don't have a good attack still. They can't trade with multi. Yeah, okay. I think this is what I do. Hopefully I don't regret this thing. Next turn I do have the Boon of Boseiju with +5/+5. That's the reason I wanted to play this right now. I don't want to just hope to draw a land. Okay, I will trade with the with the recovery unit because the recovery unit can return the other stuff there. Now they can now attack, but they would have to jump attack. Isn't that the case? No, they can actually, but if they do attack with the Heiku Yamazaki, I get to double block it. I guess if they have something here, but yeah, this is really nasty, but they get to cast the recovery unit, but I have to double block it. Problem is if they do have a way to, if they have a combat trick, I think I'm gonna lose. Well, mostly because then this won't die. I will lose both of them, and okay, they didn't do it. And finally, I found one of them rebukes here. So this should be now an easy turn, shouldn't it? Give a counter on here and vigilance also. Attack with. I just kill this thing. Attack so that the helm dies. I will lose the counter on the Jukai trainee when I use ninjutsu, but that's really not a big deal. But I have to do this in order to ninjutsu, because I want to get rid of the helm. Let's see if they have an answer for this spell now. They seem to be holding something, but I was almost tapped out. Oh, you are kidding me. Why didn't they? That just gets rid of it. Well, now I'm in trouble. I am in big trouble. Okay, then. I do have the boon here, so I get to exile these things, but the problem is they get to still recast stuff. But I will be able to untap that thing and keep it +5/+5. And then I have my 5/5. But man, the fact they had... Alright. Guess they're gonna target the... At least I got to exile the helm. That's not gonna come back. So they target the recovery unit, of course. Why not? But at least it seems like I'm gonna be able to... Oh, why didn't I let them rummage first? Well, I don't know. Well, maybe I didn't want them to draw once before this thing. Alright, so now they have this, which has something they can return. Or I guess only one thing, only the Song Shaper currently. And it's not really gonna be able to attack into this 5/5. This guy no longer has death touch, so it's just a random guy here. But I mean, I had a little while ago, I had like everything. They killed my both tokens here. They still have this thing back, which they can maybe use for value if they attack with it. Although they would have to trade it for, I mean, just a jump attack with it. Okay, that's a good one. But I get to, you know, this is actually a very good one. I'm not sure they thought this through, because I only lose one of these guys now thanks to the Bushido, while they lose the boar. That's a very good trade for me. I think they needed to leave it as a blocker. Now I find my lands. Now, if I draw my thing that has the sort of landfall ability, I'm going to use it as an instant speed channel effect. So I'm going to play my lands here. Okay, another poor. Okay, synthesizer gives them some card. Land that will be drawing them currently one card. Another Heiko Yamazaki. But this is a crew too, so they cannot actually crew it, so that... Okay, now that is going to be... That's actually really decent. Sadly, I won't be able to attack with the 1/3 here profitably. But they will either take 5 or... Okay, so now it's really tempting to just have the Coiling Stalker happen, because then I can play the Seshiro's Living Legacy, or I mean Seshiro's Tales of Master Seshiro post-combat. Get some counters on these guys, but it might be not worth it. I might want to have the 5/5 around here. Then again, getting counters on these guys is really valuable. But them being at 1 opposed to being at 3 is 4 is really big difference. Okay. Am I going to play this without any kind of a... Wait a second, did I... No. No, I didn't do anything foolish. What to do here? What to do? Next turn they will have enough blockers to double block this, but I guess... Okay, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play it because all of my attackers are lethal right now. So if they're gonna try to double block the Seshiro's Living Legacy, they might not have enough blockers for the rest of the guys. But they have access to a bunch of cards now. Circuit Mender again. Don't gain life. That's so much of every guy being lethal. Okay. I think I have drawn a lot of my heavy hitters, but I guess I have Master's Rebukes left. But now I'm beyond. I mean, I have no blocks. Sorry, no attacks anymore. Especially when they had the... Yeah, this is bad now. It's a board stall. They are losing to decking before me, but they get to draw. Okay, they don't have an enchantment yet, so this thing draws one card. Oh, Ninja's Kunai. Guess I don't care about it too much. They might kill the Fang because it's a death toucher, but whatever. They can, and if I block with the Seshiro's Living Legacy, of course they can use the Ninja's Kunai to finish it off. That's really bad, of course. So am I going to just... I can't keep them, you know... They have also the +3/+1, you know, this ability. No, actually they don't. Of course, it's not. Doesn't work like that. It's not in their hand. They can play it post-combat. Alright, so... Does it cost mana? Yes, but they might have a land drop. Did they play a land? No, they did not play a land. So they could have a land drop. It is tempting though. I get to get rid of the kunai there. Yeah, fine, let's do it. I'm not happy about it, but at least... I mean, the kunai is gonna be an annoying thing anyway. On whichever is gonna hold it. Yeah, they had the land, of course. Yep, I mean, after I cast both the invoke the ancients and this thing, I was like, I should not be losing this now. But they had to touch the spirit realm, which was just an exile one of the tokens, and of course it won't come back. Yeah, I mean the multiple Heiko Yamazaki, they get so much cards back. Yep, I mean, I know I have lost this, and I have drawn all my good cards here. I guess I have the 6/5 Trampler, but I don't even have the... Oh, I can have the surprise, but I don't think I have any ways to... They have a jump blocks. I would need a big Trampler, and that's something I don't have in the deck. The only thing that gives trample is... Sorry, I can have the 6/5 Trampler, sorry, that I can have, but the only thing that can give a huge pump effect on it is the Boon of Boseiju. I guess I have my 5 mana uncommon still left. But yeah, they can just, you know, they can attack with that thing, and then this dies, but they can, you know, recast it because they have a Heiko Yamazaki, which is not exactly a fair card when I don't draw my Master's Rebuke to kill it. Oh man. Alright. Double Heiko Yamazaki, that's too much. That's way too much value I need to deal with so much stuff here. It's insane actually. They are not gonna deck out even. Oh yeah. I'm totally dead here. I don't even care about saving that thing. I need to get my 6/5 or something. Okay. That was an awkward game. I needed to draw my my 2 lands earlier than I did. Okay. Let's see if I can play this ever in this game. Okay, now it's a bit more likely, of course, with this thing too, but at 4 lands I'm very unlikely to use the channel here. But yeah, the opponent had so many ways to get things back from the graveyard, it's kind of insane. I should have played maybe the land here. Because then they might have blocked because of the possibility for a ninja, but I have still a blocker on this thing and I'm not really too worried about that thing anyway. Okay, I drew a 3-drop, which is good. They get a plains there. And it's gonna be a 4/4 at some point, but I have a 4/4 here and 6/5 in here. That's really good. Yep. It's not a bad draw here. Even though I can't play anything now. I can't really imagine them having something that is gonna be 1 toughness and I want to kill. So they got a 2-for-1, but I'm gonna get a 2-for-1 on the next turn. And if they want to kill this by using some kind of a trick, I guess I'll take that. So, yep. No tricks here. Okay, so I get to play this and the Tanuki here. Hopefully finding some creature. I don't really need life. Okay, Gozinta is good, but this is just gonna be faster to have a big guy. Okay, now I'm lacking my chances. I hope just the opponent doesn't have the, you know, the white 6-mana Wrath effect. They are down to 3 cards. They are reading the Blossom Prancer. And they have a bum. Okay. So, they have a trick available. Well, I mean, no, they just traded with it. That's a lot better. Oh, if I get to untap, I can give this thing counter and vigilance and have the safekeeping up. I mean, if I get to untap with the creature on the battlefield, I assume I'm going to be able to untap here. Okay. So they can attack for 3 in the air. Doesn't matter at all. Yeah, this is good now. This is amazing. Do I want to get rid of this right now? It will become a 2. No, of course not. Because I have this thing. Am I a fool? There's no way I'm gonna ever do anything else than the tails on this turn. Okay, so now that's gonna be an 8 power traveler with vigilance too. I get only... Oh, I did deal only 3 here. Not a big deal. They do have 3 cards in the hand. But I have 3 cards which are all pretty good here. Fate can get rid of this guy, but I guess the 2/4 flyer is, you know, nastier than the 2/3 ground guy with reach. And yeah, this thing says target permanent you control, even if they try to kill the Tails of Master Cesar, if they... but this is also an enchantment, so I can't imagine why would they do that. If they have an enchantment removal spell. The Restoration of Aganju. This is the rare one, so search your library for planes. You may discard a card, return something with mana value 2 or less. Okay. And then this exiles into a 3/4 that has vigilance and then gets those spirit tokens. Good one, but it's, I think, something I will just exile. I will just exile that thing. Yeah, that's more important than getting rid of the 2/4 flyer, I think. Okay. The fact that this guy has trample is pretty relevant right now. So I still have the Rebuke, of course, which is also pretty nice with the Tamio safekeeping as a backup. But I don't even necessarily need it. Now these jump blockers will of course do, I mean they deal with the vigilance haste guy for a while. Okay, they're gonna steal that and win the game. I'm happy I have the happy I have this thing here. Man, that would have been super annoying. But now I can, you know, I will have 8 power trampler here. So I can, because they're gonna block in a way that I don't want to play this end of turn because they have to block at least 4 power here. So I can use the Master Rebuke mid-combat. So that they will die. I hope of course that the 2 mana card isn't anything that can deal with the situation. That is not enough. They are gonna take 5 currently. Now that's going to be enough. So I could let this happen. Or I can just kill them more than threaten lethal here. I like that. Should I? Yeah, let's do it here. Okay. Good. I won a game here. I'm at what, 2-2? Oh, nothing stops me from winning the rest of the matches. Plus, you know, you can't always win them all. Or even win more than 2. I do like the deck. I think it has good mana curve. It has removal, interaction, pump spells, and high end. But of course, if opponents have those same things, it's just a matter of who draws better. Okay. I could sometimes use the 2 mana producer, which I have 2 in the deck, on turn 2. But this is fine. I want to play, I can play the Cuff, and then depending on what I draw, I can maybe even have a 5-drop on turn 5. But we'll see. You have to auto pass because this can also target land, so when you have this in your hand with open forest, so opponent gets the read right away about what the card is. I did press shift enter now, so if they, even if they have 1-drop, I won't stop for a priority right now. Same thing here, I'm not gonna target their stuff with a Boon of Boseiju. The land wasn't bad, because now I only need 1 more for this thing, and at least I will have a turn 3 play. Also, opponent didn't start with a 1-drop, which in this format is something, I mean, 1-drops, I think every color has a actually reasonable 1-drop common, and then there are a bunch of also bunch of uncommons for 1 mana. Now this is something you don't want to see on turn 2. I have 1 way to exile it, I think, in the deck. So depending on how many artifacts they can have, if all of their cards are, or at least permanent cards are artifacts, it's gonna be annoying. And if they have, you know, the token generating that I had in my first draft, in fact, this can quickly get out of hand. Okay. Alright, well, that's good. If they block, I use the Boon, because this is also an annoying card. If they don't, I can use the Kappa Tech Wrecker. And I could get rid of either of those things, but I do think that the more annoying one is the reactor here. This can be killed with, you know, regular creature removal. I can still use the Boon of Boseiju. It will be +2/+2 and untap. This will be a 2/5. Since this already traded with a card, I don't necessarily mind if they have a removal spell in response. Okay, they have a Ghost in Chai. Why would they do that before attacks? That's a 2 mana thing, yeah. This thing can ping me for 1. Or they can use You Are Already Dead. Okay. Sad. Mostly because now this won't give me a counter, but I was kind of counting on it doing that. But I guess this lets me keep the safekeeping thing up, and on the next turn I can play it and still keep the Tamiya's safekeeping up, as long as the opponent doesn't make me discard any cards right now. So that's gonna deal 3, but well, in combination with first strike it can be this also gives indestructible. I do want to kind of save it. Fine, let's make them use the cards. They might have another one of those same things here. I'll be able to counter it. Stop killing my guys. Okay, the rebuke will be good, but now of course this will be good. That's now a 2-5, and the counters of course stay on this thing even if I, equip something. The counters won't, affect the equipped creature, but as long as this returns back to a creature at some point, the counters start mattering again. This time they didn't want to attack. So they can block, deal 2 first strike damage, and then, use this for 3 damage, but it's not enough. And I have the rebuke. I wonder why they didn't use this. They could have given this a counter, because this only takes 1 mana to, use the Ninja's Kunai. So they could have used 2 of this mana to give this a counter. Then I couldn't have an attack here. But now I do have an attack. And if they have a nasty trick, I maybe use the Master's Rebuke here. I'll get my 5-5 next turn. I can have a 4-4 surprise guy, which I probably will be using end of turn if nothing else happens here. 4-4 is gonna be good enough, especially with the 5-5 and the Master's Rebuke here. So now they're gonna give the counter. Sure, that's a counter there. I don't know why I manually tapped. There was no reason to do that, but I did anyway. Calling Stalker. Okay, won't be that bad. So now it's kind of tempting just to, attack for 12 here. Try to kill this thing, but I feel like they might have something. I'm still doing it. Should I do it with the web spinner? I'm doing it with the web spinner. I guess they can have a 1+1 toughness effect. Well, they didn't have anything, so... Yeah, they could have had the 6-drop boar. The thing that can channel for a +3/+1 and trample. So in that sense... But the reason I chose this is that if they have... well, first of all, I don't remember all the cards in the format. But at least there is an uncommon that is red and X, and which deals X damage to target creature, and if you have a modified creature, which they do, it's modified even in 2 different ways, it's gonna deal X+2, so that would have actually dealt 5 damage. So that could have killed this and this, but not the 3/6. But there might be some other cards too. But anyway, that's the outcome of the match. Draft is fun indeed. Alright. That's at least a 1-2 start here. I can even use the Kappa Tech Wrecker with the Fang of Shigeki, maybe. I mean, it's also possible this gets blocked. Opponent mulligans though. Turn 3 I can play the Goshintai with the counter right away. It of course takes a couple of turns before this actually starts to pay off. You have to basically play a 2 mana 1/1 or maybe a 3 mana 2/2 on turn 3, and then you still need to add a couple of counters to it. But I guess at the point when it's like a 4/4, it's quite good. No reason to use the ninja for anything. I'll just play this and start putting counters if it survives on the next turn. Okay, they play multiple colors, so don't think there's any reason for me to do anything then. Just I kind of want to keep the safekeeping up. You could actually play this without, using the ninja here. But I want to use the mana for the counter, and then I want to also leave up the safekeeping here. So that's what I'm doing. Maybe next turn. Okay, that's that kind of thing. So I could just attack into it. No, I'd rather no. It's time to use the value. Make the value play. This is an artifact creature. That's the thing here. So they will not block this, and then I can use this particular guy here because I get to return this, exile that, and also still have a. I'm going to not even play the Shigeki thing, maybe. I don't want to telegraph them, actually. If they do have removal on this particular turn, then they do. I guess I will live with that. If I draw a land, I have these 5 mana spells here. If I draw spells, I mean, I can cast most of that stuff. I have a 6-drop, and yeah, I have only one. Okay, they have a Shrines there. I have only one 5 mana card, and it's the first big rare. Okay. I can use the. Okay, so how to do this? How to do this? I won't be attacking with the Tech Wrecker here. I'll be attacking with I don't think I want to offer the trade here. No. So I'm gonna lose the Goshintai if I play the Brute Suit here. Because, I mean, I don't have to use the mana there, but I want to. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'll leave the safekeeping up, because this is now starting to be actual. And it also has trample, by the way. It starts to be an actual thing. Sadly, I can't punish them in response to that, but let's do this now, and this is now going to be. If I get to do the. Well, okay, there's now merge keeper. Well, I guess I'll just do this now. But now I play the suit. I know I could play this that allows me to play the 5 mana things, but I kind of want to have the 4/3 here. It is actually a relevant size, and I have a very good thing that can, keep crewing it, the 1/3 here. So now I'm gonna overload their interaction. They might also, have a removal spell on the Goshintai. That's gonna give them a card and life. That's nice. But this will, at some point they need to deal with it. Okay, Master's Rebuke means they have 1 mana up. It's time to. Do this. I hope they don't have anything too dangerous with the 1 mana, because double block will now be punished. And I don't care about the trade with the Brute Suit here. That's all fine. Now does that mean they have the 6 drop? Oh man. I'm gonna play this anyway, because why would they do those blocks? I mean, they blocking the suit makes sense, but why would they block the 1/1 Death Toucher? Well, I guess I mean, if they have the exile everything thing, I do have this expensive stuff here, which can, you know, help me come back to the game, but they might actually exile the board now if they have a 6th land drop, because that kind of feels like what they're doing here. It's also possible they have the 6 mana exile thing in the hand, but they don't draw the 6th land. Anyway, this thing is a 6/6 Trambler currently. No longer I have to exile a creature. But now I can play Tales of Master Seshiro. I think I'll play that first, because then I get the 5/5 faster, and I can still, you know, give a counter on the Tech Wrecker. And I'm still a little bit worried they might have the 6 mana exile effect, because the amount of cards in their hand, now I see it, if that's there. They get to exile even this thing, because it exiles also enchantments. But, I mean, it's a rare. There can be other things they can be holding too. Okay, that's let's say not quite as dangerous. So who is gonna get the? Now I'll just put this. They do have, of course, now the block on here, but I'll just play my Tanuki now. Not even a counter spell. This has vigilance. I could have attacked with it, but they are gonna block. They are not gonna go to 5. So, and I wasn't going to use the rebuke here. Okay, Spirited Companion. Right, so I don't know what happened in the intermediate turns there, because they have now these cheap cards they just didn't play earlier. I'm not sure what's up with that. And what are they still holding in their hand? Oh, keep a salvage. Okay, they got value. Yeah, they needed to have both of those for the maximum value. Now I understand. Well, gladly I do have the Master's Rebuke here and the 6 power guy, and they are tapped out, so this is super safe now. Just kill it. And then I will attack with... they have to block... Can I attack with the Merge Keeper? If they block the Merge Keeper with the 1/4 and they jump block the 5/5, they will die. So, and I can play the Yukai Trainee. I don't have to play the Kami here, so I'm gonna do it like this. They can't block this. This jump blocks here. This eats here. It's 9 damage, and that's... I guess they can make a treasure token and use a 1 mana spell, but hey, if I lose my Merge Keeper here now, I can live with that. And now the question is, should I play around a rat? They might, in theory, still draw. But they have so many cards in their hand and they got more mana. Maybe they were missing a color still. And they could, stabilize in some other way, involving playing all their cards and gaining 1 life here. So I will play the trainee here now. I mean, this is quite still okay way to refill post-wrath, if that's what it's gonna be. This gets me a card, hopefully. And then this is a 4-3, which, well, that's mostly just a 4-3. So, 4 cards. 8 mana. That's good, but alone not enough. 3 cards and 4 mana. And they have only 1 blocker. So they need to deal with the Living Legacy here. If they don't do that, well, then they just have to jump block it and then lose to these other attackers. So they kill this. Then they still have to block the Tech Fragger. And these are still lethal. They need to have 2 things. Well, I will... something very, very amazing has to happen for them to survive. I guess there's the thing that creates 2 pilot creatures with channel ability for 3 mana, but that's really, I mean, that means only jump blocking. I'm gonna win that game. They need some permanent solutions to these things, not like temporary jump blocking. I'm at 22, so they need to stabilize, and then they will need a lot of time to win the game after stabilizing. So they are thinking hard, but they do have 4 mana available, 3 cards. Maybe I should pause the recording, but this is exciting. I don't want you guys to miss when they play something. I don't have any, plays, so there won't be any. I won't have any priority here. I guess I could put a full control on or a manual stop here. But yeah, maybe you can just skip the video a few seconds ahead if this is too boring. So another Twisted Embrace. Do they have like 3 of them? Yes, they do. And that's sadly not enough for them, because I'll just attack with everything and they can block only 3 damage, and they have to take 3 here. So that's why they were thinking. They had answers for my big guys, but imagine now if I played around the Wrath effect and didn't play the Yukai Trainer here. I mean, I would have been able to deal 1 damage still, because they were forced to block this, but they would have been able to untap and maybe actually stabilize after that. So it was important to play the trainee there. I haven't actually seen this earlier, or maybe I have seen in some game when I didn't need to use it, or it was not enough to do anything. This hand, yeah, I need some lands, but I'm keeping it. I'm really bad at drawing my 2 mana producers in my starting hands, but at least that land was a very good draw there. So what I can do on the next turn is, yeah, I'm gonna play the Roaring Earth here. And then I can, I mean, if opponent doesn't have anything, okay, that's good with ninjas actually. But that's good, just plain good. So on the next turn I can play the Goshintai, play the land, give it a counter, and then use the 3rd land to give a counter end of turn. But if they have a 1 mana, ninja here, they can draw a card from this thing. Okay, well, they didn't have a ninja at all. No problem then. Okay, they made me exile that thing. I guess it could have been worse. I could exile this. But, I mean, the ninjas have still some artifacts. Maybe even enchantments. At least artifacts. Yeah, there's also an enchantment ninja. But how likely is it that I care about this right on this turn? It's not very likely. Better start growing these now. And if I draw a land on next turn, I can fade if I really want to. And use the counter. So now they have a ninja and they can get some value. Well, they don't get value, but they did get a very big guy there, which I am sad about. Oh, and I didn't draw a land. So could be another one of those games where I have these 5 drops, but not the lands. I guess, no, it's too risky to, I mean, I could have double blocked there, not attack, because this would be 2 3/3s when they block this guy. They can only trade with 1. But yeah, this is harsh now. This coming on turn 4. Yeah, I need my Death Toucher or something. With the Rebuke it would be just a non-issue, that's the thing, but yeah, I guess I'll just have to. Okay, well that's at least doing exactly nothing. And I drew a land here, so. Okay. So I need to. I might need to use the Master's Rebuke here. So I don't need to exile. I mean, why would I exile? I mean, this is an artifact. I could exile this, but I mean, I guess I could do that. I mean, the opponent has only 1 card in their hand that I don't know about. If this thing trades with my Kozintai, I don't care. I don't necessarily want to give them the Scry. This is really tough now. This will have reach though, so I can, block it. But I'm actually doing this. I'm hoping that the final card in their hand isn't going to allow them to make this double block bad. Because I really wanted to do it so that I would have the masters. I could keep this guy counter. Funny. I guess this works in multiplayer, so you can give it to your allies. Anyway. Yeah, because the double block with the Master's Rebuke would be a lot, less risky then. They have 2 cards now. Don't punish me. Okay, at least I got to kill that thing. And they get to return it to their hand. But, I mean, all I need here is time. Time to get my 5 mana stuff going on. That's not good enough, because I don't care about the shrine here. They must have the other shrine too. Why would they play 1 blue shrine in the deck? Anyway, let's do this. And I have a block on the Kamigawa Restless Shadow. If they have the blue enchantment that says that this won't untap, I will die. Attacking with the... Okay, they haven't... No, of course, because they can ninja this out. That's, by the way, that works. If I attacked with the Yukai training... No, it wouldn't have worked. They would be able to ninja. Anyway, so I'll take actually 5 here. But... Yeah, man, this Shadow Walker here, it's really doing some nasty work. And I cannot draw the 5th land. So... I need to use the Rebuke, I guess. Oh, actually, this just has Death Touch. Oh, what the heck. This has Vigilance. That's why this enchantment is good. This thing has Death Touch. Damn it. Come on. I can do better. Why was I so desperate? This is such an obvious. Okay, sorry guys. But yeah, I am of course at 3 life. That can be nasty if they have the 1 drop. That drains 2 life. Well, drains a life twice. The Black Saga, the common. But I mean, I guess I can survive one of those. But of being at 3 is, oh, behold the unspeakable. That is, well, I needed to have this thing, and I now do have it. Oh, so when this is, yeah, this has to deal combat damage to a player. So I couldn't get to kill this before. I need to give it +2/+2. That's not possible. I can give it 1 counter. Huh, funny. It doesn't matter though. I'm gonna play the invoke the ancients here anyway. And I will have a kind of feel like Trample is where I should be. I have reach equipment and I get vigilance from the Tales of the Master, says Hero. Let's make them, unable to jump block. But yeah, they get to do the draw thing. If I want to, I can still maybe exile it if I get to connect. I have 12 power, actually 13 power of creatures here. That's also quite good. I didn't actually see how they scried. Yeah, now this is exactly why I wanted to have the tramplers around. Okay. Well, I currently have a 4 mana permanent. Well, that's good enough. So +4/+4 on a Trampler. And they are tapped out, so I think this is gonna be a victory now with the Boon of Boseiju. They would have to... Well, maybe not if they do in fact jump block with the Ghost inside, because now they are not taking... Yeah, but they also want to jump block, block the Kappa Tech Wrecker. Okay, they want to ninja something out with this thing, but now... This is a 4 mana permanent. Greatest mana value among permanents you control. That's 4. This is enough. I guess they had some ninjas with these flyers that could have just, won the game. So let's say if I didn't have the Boon of Boseiju and they left these 2 flyers for there was a reason they wanted to leave 2 flyers. I think without the Boon of the Boseiju, I would have used the exile ability to exile, well, for example, the Ghost Ninja thing, and then have just play the Web Spinner Cuff to have a reach blocker so that they couldn't ninja anything out. Probably. Okay, on the play. Totally reasonable hand here. Not sure about the turn 3 though. I'm gonna play the trainee of course now because I can't use this. Yeah, with the 4th land I should play this on turn 3 and then I can play this on turn 4 and use both of those turns to... Oh. Change of like a slight change of plans. Yup, definitely. Now, they might have some ninja, maybe even the one that bounces, but there's not much I can do about that thing if they have the bounce ninja. I mean, even with any other kind of play. Plus, if they don't have it, I'd just rather, make this into a 3/3. If they want to use a removal on the Jukai trainee, yeah, they can do that. This thing also can put counters on vehicles, so I could... But no, I think I still want to start using the Ghost in Ties to secure the ability. So I could, on the next turn, play the Brute Suit, play the land, give it a counter, and then it could be, crewed easily to attack for 5. but okay, that's okay. Well, that's if that's their play, that's not gonna do anything. Wow, jeez, that's totally doing nothing. I'm not gonna use the rebuke here. I'm gonna just use the ghost in time. I mean, they even missed the land drop, so this is just I mean, how can they, with so low mana count, answer all this? They do have a third land now, but I mean, the bounce ninja is just a 2/2, and after it's done its thing, it bounces as an ETB, not when it connects. So, and they would have to return this to their hand. I'm not worried about the bounce ninja. They kind of have to bounce the trainee here anyway, because it's the bigger threat here. And yeah, I do lose the counters here, but they lose a bunch of tempo here. Yep, they do have it. But it's all fine-ish. Do I want to leave the... No, I want to just attack here and yeah, because this... Now they of course can ninja to this thing back. That's the idea with this thing, of course. So maybe I'm supposed to not... Because if I play the brute suit, I cannot actually block this. So I will play this for you know, just to be safe. Also, this leaves my both tricks up here. Although now it's not the case. Fine. I mean, I still, if they need to, I mean, let's say they get rid of the blocker. Do they have mana to use ninjutsu after that? Well, they might if they have a cheap removal and a cheap ninja, but I mean, that's going to still be the turn. All right, no ninjas. Two mana up, they can just draw 2 cards. If they have interaction, they maybe should not let me untap. Land would have been good, but I think I can live without a land for a couple of turns here. If they weren't tapped out, I would of course attack with the Goshin Tai, but I think in this case I won't be attacking with it, because they could double block. And yes, I could have the rebuke or the boon here, but not into open mana. I can attack for 2 here. Okay, they have a hover bike there. They can tap one of my guys. Okay, sure. Now they are tapped out. Now I can attack. I can give it +2/+2, and I have 2 things I can cast them both. I guess they just take 3. It's too risky now. I wouldn't make this attack if I didn't have anything. Okay. That is a risky block. I will use the boon here because I'd rather have the rebuke. It's kind of a better thing here. So this is gonna give it +2/+2, which is enough. And well, if I want to get the value from them, I'm going to... It has, by the way, trample. I get to trample for 1. So I'll get the counter. It may be a bit awkward with the rebuke up here, but the rebuke will be good anyway later on too. They would have to ninja something specific, some rare ninja maybe. Then I will regret not having the rebuke here. Now this thing has given me 2 counters. Maybe at some point I will draw a land. Okay, they went to... draw more cards to see something. Okay, this target creature gains death touch and lifelink. Yep, okay, that's not really doing anything. Alright, so no one has death touch now. They have 1 mana up. If I just drew a land, I don't recall all the one black mana instants. There is the one that says that destroy a creature that was dealt damage this turn. But I'm really tempted to just use the rebuke now and really make them, you know, suffer. I mean, I guess I can take the double block here too. Could play this. All right, let's be a little bit more conservative. I don't mind how they block here now. If they double block, because I can just let this happen. I'm not necessarily even want to use the mana on this when I'm so, you know, I need mana. So I will get to trample 1 point, double, yeah. Mostly because they could have the thing that kills this for 1 mana anyway. So I'd rather do it like this. Because I have a decent, you know, decent place here anyway. They take damage there and I can play the Brute Suit and the Fang of Shigeki, and I still have the Rebuke up, especially with the Death Toucher. And at some point, I'm gonna draw a land, get maybe some counters, and get to play this. I'm refusing to. Okay, they have that thing for. They had to hard cast it. I'm refusing to, you know, use this for a land when I'm at 4 lands now. All right, so this is victory, isn't it? It is, because this gets a counter. This kills this. And that's 7. 7 exactly here. Okay. Another ninja deck down. Okay, even got a tier upgrade. So I did in fact win quite a few matches in a row, and I think it's... Is it 6 wins now? It is 2 losses that I remembered. I was at 2-2 at some point. Okay, yeah, I was at 2-2. Was I at 1-2? I'm not sure, but at least I was at 2-2, and then I'm having the final match now, win or lose. The event will be over. I haven't gotten my mana producers really. It was in the first match when I just flooded out and drew both of them without any of the expensive stuff. Then I haven't seen them a lot. That's fine though, because this is a hand I can just you know, have here. It's gonna be a functional hand. And I think with them, okay, well with the Fang of Shigeki, not. I was thinking about playing this, but now that I actually have a reliable way to ninja it out, maybe not. But mostly because it's a death toucher, and if I need to kill something, I could have used the rebuke on it. Okay, they have vehicles there. I'm just going to do this here. That's a crew 1 3/2 flyer. Yep, I paid. Next turn I can play the Brute Suit and still get a counter if it's alive. 3 colors. Okay, that thing has to die. When they have vehicles in the graveyard, they get to reanimate them. And funnily, they enter the battlefield, they can attack with it once. Then it goes to their owner's, into the owner's hand. Okay, with 1 blue or white, what can happen here? Well, I have a Tamiya safekeeping here, so... I guess this is gonna be good enough. They can crew the equipment, sorry, the vehicle. And then they have a 3/2. Which, if they choose to... Yeah, I can attack with this guy. And now I could use this thing to exile it for good. That means I won't have the mana to give a counter on this, but I don't have to do it always. Let's get rid of it. It is still a flying thing that could be annoying to deal with. Okay, 4 cards still to deal with. Sunblade Samurai. That has no longer death touch, but I can do this. I guess I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to, you know, not have the safekeeping up. I can try to block the samurai if it attacks with the brute suit or even the death toucher. Let's see if they are attacking with it. Bankbuster. So that's the one that draws them cards. Yeah, well, I guess I would have preferred to exile that rather than the 3-2 flyer, but I didn't know they will have that thing in their deck. That exiles it. They have an enchantment and an artifact. That's really annoying. That's really, really annoying. They even have the samurai now. And they have the refill ability from the Bankbuster. I think I need my 3 mana exile sorcery. I think I really need it. That's a crew 3. Or you know, some of the higher, big hitters. Jeez. This is very bad. I mean, it wouldn't be so bad if they didn't have this thing that draws them cards. No. I'm not favorite to win here. They are gonna get 3 cards because I don't have the means to stop that from happening. I even have to do this. This is super annoying, but I think I have to do this. Just to have, you know, some kind of an attacking capacity here, but they're gonna draw 2 cards a turn. It's so... but I mean, I can draw my good stuff. I can draw my rare, for example, the first pick in the entire draft. But I need to draw something good, not my low end. I lost the ghost entire. Really, that was one way to, you know, I guess when you have a safekeeping and don't keep mana up for it, bad things are bound to happen. But yeah, that amount of cards is so hard to overcome unless they like hit a massive flood, while I don't. But hey, thinking about the positive side of things, I did. I was at 2 wins and 2 losses at some point, and now I'm at 6 wins and 2 losses. So, and I even got ranking-wise, I got to new tier. Okay, so that's gonna return nothing so far. I got to a new tier, so if I lose this game, it means that now I draw it. It means that I don't even drop because I have the rank protection or tier protection currently active here. Yeah, the Merge Keeper is almost as bad as a land draw here. I basically need all my 5 and 6 drops. Then I'm happy. Guess I could have attacked with the Shigeki, but maybe not. Okay, they just trade here, which is fine. But overall a successful draft, even if I lose this. And it's not really, I mean, I might not lose. They have 1 more card, then they get to... This is gonna be a 4/4 vehicle with crew 3, but the pilot will be able to crew it by itself. And I lost my 4 power creature or vehicle here, so I need to now start actually drawing some good stuff. But I guess in the current board... Alright, well, they're gonna get a shrine or an aura. Okay. That's more card advantage, by the way. An arrest. Okay. Master's Rebuke. Well, I don't actually have any good attacks here, so... They do have with the 3-2. No, I will double block it with the 1-1 and the 1-3. You know, not the Death Toucher. And the Bank Buster, I just have to... Well, I have the Death Toucher for that. Okay, they have one card I don't know about. Twisted Embrace. Sadly, that thing is in fact not a creature yet. Yeah, I mean they had that in and they still have this arrest here, so... And now it's of course a 5-5 when it attacks. I can take it a couple of times. Then... I guess I can trade with them. Does it make more sense to trade my mana guy? Yeah, let's do it like this instead. I'll get to keep my 1-3 here, which is gonna hold down these things. Okay, Web Spinner Cuff. That's interesting at least. Although they still have the arrest here. I don't have mana to equip now, so it doesn't make any sense. I would have equipped it otherwise, because then this arrest... Okay, well now I have to use my... Alright, my Rebuke is gonna kill a pilot here. And I will take 5 damage. So I can make this Tech Wrecker into a 2-7. And then if they use the arrest on it, I can reconfigure back into a 1-4. But am I dead here? I might be. I had to do something to be able to block this guy at least. I guess I could have triple blocked it. Well, I don't know, man. Maybe I should have not done that, because I could have triple blocked it. That would have been exactly 5 damage I'm representing, unless they do this pre-combat. But then I would have had 2 blockers still left. Now I have only 1 blocker. Yeah, I think it was a mistake. Oh, but they have to of course crew it for the 3 power guy. Yeah, they can't attack with the Shrine Steward if they attack with the Bank Buster. But yeah, this is not good. They got to scry. Well, I guess if I draw my rare here somehow. Yeah, that's gonna even up the score a bit. They did have something good on top, but it doesn't mean it has to be like a bomb. It could be just a playable creature. So yeah, if they crew the Bank Buster, they will... Well, they will have to use the arrest on my 1-3, and then I can reconfigure this thing back to the Yukai trainee. But the problem is that I have 1 land in my graveyard, which means that I have still 9 lands left in the deck and 14 spells. There's a good chance I will get to you know, hit a pocket of lands here. So if I reconfigure in... Hey, what the heck? I was gonna equip on the Jukai trainee. Oh, that was the first time I used that interface actually. I haven't done a reconfigure ability on a creature when it has been equipped on a creature, so there was probably an option to, because you can of course move it to another creature, you don't have to return it to the creature form here. I was going to make this guy into a 3/6, but then again, if they draw a creature big enough, I couldn't have only one blocker, I would lose to these guys, so maybe I need the 2 blockers anyway. Sad thing is that I have to jump block this guy, so I'm dead. That's how it goes. And unless I draw exactly on my next draw step. Yeah, and that's even a spirited companion. Well, it's not big enough to crew this guy, but they might have drawn another creature here. Yep, they had too much going on there. Too much value. The steward getting not any shrines, but actually good auras, like the Twisted Embrace and the pacifism here. So now they can of course attack with the, because I mean I have to jump block this guy. But now with this, yeah, so if I didn't mess up the crew equip ability here, or a reconfigure ability, this would now be a 3/6, which could actually block this guy without dying. And they would have to use 3 power to crew it. That would leave them 3 power to attack with. Well, I would be dropping to 1. So yeah, it wouldn't be a winning gameplay. I guess now they cannot attack with, well, they can attack with the steward, but now I can, well, I can either, do I want to trade with this guy or jump? I have to, one of them has to jump block here. So I need to draw my 2 4/5s. I guess the web spinner can be more useful, although I guess the reach thing can be valuable. Fine, I'll do it like this. It's like a, I am not even sure if I can win even if I draw my 4/5s. That might not be the case. Okay. So yeah, I messed up with the interface. Like I said, I won't lose rank here now. But it didn't matter in the end. Even if I didn't mess it up, I would have lost the game. And here it is, the deck. Did I get to use all the cards? I did use all the 5 drops, the 6 drop, the 4 drop. Oh, I didn't cast the geothermal Kami yet. I think it was in my hand like a 1 or 2 games. Got to exile some stuff. The cuff was okay. Brute Suit did actually some work there. The timing for these things were just bad. Yeah, this never did what I needed them to do, like have an early 6 or 5 drop, but I never got to do that. And the Tech Wrecker good, the Kusinchai. Yep, I think it was a decent deck, and 6 wins after the difficult start in the event, losing some quick 2 quick matches. I got to hit a streak of wins there, and got to 6 wins, which is of course great. And that's it for now. Our next one will be a traditional draft on the next day, followed by yet another premier draft. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.